Right, so welcome to Bite with Vikas episode 2.0, and we have Daniel Rangrezi sir with us. He's an English professor, has been teaching English since 40 plus years, and it's a massive experience in this particular field, sir. So can you just enlighten with the subject, with your experience, and importantly, how English language is relatable to the hotel management student or maybe hospitality student who are aspiring to go in any of the hospitality sector, for example, airline, cruise, apart from hotels as well, there are many fields wherein hospitality works. So over to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Very good afternoon.
Thank you for having me on your program.
Absolute pleasure.
Yes, sir. So, firstly, sir, in connection with the question that you just asked me, what is the importance of English subject?
Correct.
And again, pertaining to communication.
Yes.
English being used, for communication in hospitality industry. So, I would like to tell you, sir, the importance of the English language in connection with hospitality jobs is immense. Immense, absolutely. I would say it is very fundamental.
Right.
Because the thing is, hospitality jobs are such that they are done internationally.
Correct, yes. So it has like wide spread of the, you can say, exposure in terms of the knowledge also and in terms of acceptance also.
Yes, sir.
When we talk about the language specifically, English.
Yes, sir. Correct. The thing is now, most of the hospitality jobs, they are, spread all over the world.
Correct.
What I mean by saying spread all over the world means there are more opportunities nowadays.
Yes.
For jobs like, in big hotels, five-star hotels.
Correct.
And there are several other hospitality places. So one needs to, leave one's own country, like India.
Yes.
In our instance, and go to any country that he may have to.
Correct.
For a good, future.
Right.
So in that case, it becomes extremely necessary for the
Correct.
person to know the English language.
Correct.
Because you cannot, suppose you are getting a good opportunity in Russia.
Correct.
Or say in Germany.
Yes.
Or in any of the European countries or any country of the world.
Yes.
You cannot expect those people over there to know your local languages.
Absolutely.
Like, the languages that we speak here in Hindi, Kannada, Marathi or whatever.
Yes.
So, we cannot expect, those people to know our language.
Yes.
So, in such a situation, it becomes extremely necessary that, you know English because English is an international language.
Yes, widely accepted.
Widely accepted. The very word international language means, it means that, people all over the world know it.
Yes, correct.
People are international is, between any country, any two countries of the world. Or
it's kind of an unsaid rule, what we are talking about when we say international, it's widely acceptable.
Yes.
Correct. And that's how it is defined.
Yeah, and I would feel that, it becomes one's duty to know the international language if he wishes to do jobs elsewhere.
Absolutely, and hospitality is all about that. It's not only restricted to a specific state or country. It's all over the world. Wherever you go, you have jobs for hospitality, and if you know this particular language, English, obviously it acts as a passport for you to go all over the world and explore yourself.
Yes, sir. So coming back to our discussion, so it becomes something without which you cannot do.
Correct.
As you may call it, it becomes indispensable for a person to know this language because English is the only language that can help you to, communicate in any of the country of the world.
Correct, yes.
That's what it's called an international language.
Yes.
Like you can go and survive and do a job or, manage things if you know this.
Correct.
So it becomes I would say English is something, extremely essential and necessary for hospitality jobs.
Correct. So it's, you can say it's one thing that you cannot survive without.
Yeah.
And so what are the do's and don'ts, how one can, learn this language, how one can explore his knowledge in English? Is there any mantra that you have? Is there any tactics, to-do list, not to-do list, every day, every month, every year? How do you suggest because as we can understand that many of the schools from Maharashtra itself have Marathi medium or Hindi medium, and English mediums are also have large popularity nowadays. The preference is there, but we should not ignore our native languages which Maharashtra speaks, Marathi.
Right.
And when the students come from Marathi background, Maharashtrian students do come from Marathi background, it becomes little challenging for them to understand, to cope up with the English language. But the past is past, I mean, whatever background you come from. But the goal has to be very clear. Now you have come to the hospitality field.
Right.
That means you are supposed to go with this particular flow, which requires English as a skill or a tool, or maybe as a ship to travel your path.
Yeah.
Yes. So how do you suggest how one should focus and go about it?
Yes, sir. So if you think about the whole, the whole problem about not being able to speak English,
Yes.
and I would say the easiest solution to this would be following the natural way of learning languages. What I mean by saying natural way is, now you take a small child,
Yes.
a child of 3 years, 4 years,
Yes.
2 years, 3 years, he speaks a particular language. He
Correct.
speaks the language of his family, like if you, as you call it, the mother tongue.
Yes. Correct. Yes.
Now, small child of 2 years and 3 years, he is not taught any vocabulary.
Absolutely.
He has not been taught, any grammar.
He's not been given a book as soon as he takes birth. I mean, he's not been gifted with the book straight away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then how does he speak the language?
Yes.
He speaks English, he speaks German, he speaks Tamil,
Yes.
he speaks Marathi or Hindi.
Whichever mother tongue is there, he absolutely understands and then processes it. And
Yes.
starts speaking it also somehow.
You don't require any teaching, any methodology,
Correct.
anything, any
That's true.
grammar.
That's true. Yes.
So this is what I call as a natural way of learning a language.
Wow.
Now, as you said, how would a person who has not been fortunate enough to be born
Yes.
in an English-speaking family,
Yes.
or who has not been fortunate enough to get educated in an English medium school,
Correct.
how does he cope up with the
situation?
With the
Because
situation.
as we understand, not only hospitality, but most of the sectors, I mean 90% of the sectors or the industries are in requirement of this particular mode of communicating, because you are exploring, you are expanding in terms of your business, your whatever things you are doing in terms of earning money. So if you want to expand, basically you will have to go international.
Yes.
And internationally, the language, the common language which is spoken is English. So
Yes.
that's why the question, how it needs to be done.
Yes, sir. So I would put this in, I would explain the solution to this problem in 3 steps.
All right.
Firstly, beginning with a natural way of learning the language.
Right. Like a child does.
Yes, like a child does. So you would have to apply that, in as a first step. Like you will have to do maximum listening. Maximum listening.
Active listening, we can call it.
Which
yes.
the child has done.
Correct.
A
He has
child-
done it unconsciously, but you will have to do it
Consciously, exactly,
An active learning. I mean, like you have to do it on purpose that you are supposed to learn.
Yes.
You have to take efforts. Yes.
Yes. Because the child has learned it because he has been in that environment at home.
Correct. Yes.
That particular language, having been spoken
Yes.
repeatedly, it has been bombarded into his mind
Yes.
continuously, and that's how he starts automatically speaking the language in 2 years or 3 years.
Correct.
But this is a result of, he unconsciously listening.
Correct,
Right?
yes.
Now you will have to do it consciously because there's no other way.
Yes.
An adult, if he intends to learn English, he'll have to apply the same method but with a conscious effort.
Correct.
With an effort as best as he or she can. He will have to do active listening whenever anybody speaks English, or when he hears English on radio or on television or wherever.
Yes,
From where-
I was about to ask that, like you said, one has to do active listening. So when we talk about active listening, how do you do the active listening? So that's what you are explaining.
Exactly.
Right now, yes.
It may be two people you over here, two
Correct.
people speaking. You're standing there, and two people are speaking in English.
Right now we are speaking, you are listening and watching it also. This has to be active listening again. Yes.
Yes. Or it could be something played on something is going on a TV or on a radio. So you will have to very attentively, listen to the language.
Correct.
Listen to every word. Listen to the different aspects of the language.
Correct.
So firstly, you will have to be a very attentive listener.
Correct.
So that that starts entering into your mind, and then finally it gets stored into the subconscious mind.
Correct. Yes.
So that is the first step, I would say. Do as much listening as you can. Secondly, sir, what I would say is, you will have to again put yourself to maximum reading.
Maximum reading also. So this is the second point. So one is to be very active listening, and secondly is reading.
Yeah, because when you're listening, things are not fully in your control.
Correct.
The speaker will speak as per his speed.
Absolutely. You have to be dependent on somebody to speak first, then you listen to him. So you're basically not, it's not in your control. Like if they don't speak, that means you don't learn.
Yes.
Correct. So
Yes. So
reading is again very opposite. Like it's in your hand. Like when you want to read, you can just start with it.
Yes, you cannot tell the speaker, if you are suppose standing and listening to people
Yes.
talking, you cannot tell the speaker, you cannot go and tell him, will you please repeat what you just said? I'm learning English.
Our teacher has told that active listening has to be done. Kindly speak again.
Yes.
Kindly repeat it.
It
That's
will
funny.
be, so, but then when you're reading, the book is speaking to you.
Yes. And nobody is going to interrupt. Like
Yes.
the conversation that you're having with your book.
Yeah, it is like the book speaking to you. It is,
Yes.
you're reading it, of course, but then you're saying it in your mind, you're speaking to yourself.
Correct.
But it is as if, instead of a speaker,
Yes.
the book becomes a speaker.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So it's like not a human, but it's like a book human kind of
Yes.
thing.
And you have not to request, or as we just spoke some time back, you going and requesting the person to repeat the sentence once again.
Correct.
But here you can do it with a book.
Yeah.
You can reread the sentence.
Absolutely. You don't have to request somebody to please stop. I am going somewhere. We'll just continue with the conversation later. You can do it with the book.
Yes.
You can continue the conversation at any given point of time.
You can read it any number of times and try to understand the different aspects of that sentence. Like
Yes.
there are so many things involved. There is so much of grammar involved in a sentence.
Yes,
It
yes.
could be in different tenses. It
Yes.
could be in an active or a passive voice.
Yes.
Then there are so many other things.
The more you read, more you understand, like active tense, passive tense, and then you understand like how exactly needs to be used while speaking
Yes, sir.
and forming the sentences.
Then there could be so many other things about grammar in it. There could be beautiful words in that sentence,
Correct.
which is a part of vocabulary again.
Yes.
So you can read that any number of times that you want
Yes.
and meditate on it. Try to understand the grammar, try to understand the meanings of the words, and the words again exist in different forms.
Yes. Correct.
A word, when you talk about vocabulary,
Yes.
a word exists in different forms. A word exists in a noun form, in an adjective form,
Correct.
in a verb, or in an adverb form. These are the
Right.
4 forms in which words exist.
Absolutely.
So then you can, read the sentence again. So this reading would be a more meditative kind of a activity,
Yes. Correct.
which will prove, as effective as listening.
Yes.
So I would say, secondly, a person should read.
Yes.
maximum-
First is listening. Second is reading.
Reading.
And,
reading. And as you read, you may sometimes, recall words that you have heard here and there.
yes. Right. It happens. It does happen.
Yeah, you'll read the same word, rustic, this
Yes.
word, where did I hear? Oh, that person, it will help you to connect things.
Yes. And you, automatically run a process in your brain like this word I have read somewhere. I need to know the meaning.
Yes.
Once, twice, maybe 10 times, one will ignore. But 11th time, you will definitely feel like, oh, I have read it 10 times. I still don't know the meaning of it. I should know it from somewhere.
Yes, sir. So you have all the time in the world at your disposal when you are putting yourself to reading. Reading is a more, it's like a more free kind of activity. Free, you're totally free to, put any amount of time in it.
Correct.
You may read for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3
Correct.
hours. You know, you
It can
say-
be meditative for some people also.
Certainly, yes,
Yes.
sir. Yes. It
Because
can.
whenever I read, I feel like I'm meditating because it's absolutely, I mean, just one to one and nobody else is there. It's a different world altogether.
Yes, I don't know, sir. I had read it somewhere in some book. I don't know exactly that book now. Some many years back, the author, he says the power of words. He says, you know, meditate on the words, brood on what you're reading, and the words have got the power to take you to God.
Yeah,
That is what he
absolutely.
says. He
Oh,
says finally, you know, they will open the gateway to
So
heaven.
beautifully said. I mean,
It means a lot.
lovely, yes.
One needs to, you know, contemplate a lot on this, what he
Yes.
means.
He summed up very nicely. I mean, yes, it has the power to take you to God.
Yes.
Wow.
He
What
said-
more do you need?
Yes, very true. So words, reading gives you that, you know, I mean, that
Joy.
opportunity, that
Oh,
joy.
yes.
And lastly, but not the least, I would say, a person should start speaking the language.
Oh, yes, right. Obviously, you have listened to it, you're reading it, you've been reading it, and now it's time to put it
Yeah.
into actualization.
Because
put
what
it
is this
into
whole,
words.
what is the whole effort for?
Yes, absolutely.
The effort of listening, the effort of reading, it is all towards enabling yourself
Correct.
to speak the language.
Yes.
You are learning, you want to speak English, do a hospitality job. So
Yes.
finally the goal is to speak the language.
Absolutely. Otherwise, it will be of no use. I mean, the reading, the listening, it will be of no use.
Yes, because when you go and do your, even when you work, there is a person who's speaking to you.
Yes.
So you cannot, it cannot be a monologue that you keep on hearing him and you just, you know, keep on nodding your head.
Or you can't just go and tell him, see, I've read 10 books about it, so you can't speak to me now in that tone.
Yes.
You'll have to give him a counter sentence or you'll have to give him a counter argument
Yes.
on whatever he's saying.
So the person will have to start speaking the language. He will have to take a, I mean, he will have to make a very conscious effort to start speaking it. Though it might be difficult, he might feel shy, he might feel
Yes.
embarrassed
Yes.
in certain situations.
This does happen. This is a reality when you age slowly and steadily, you have a lot of resistance for learning new things.
Yes.
And to be very simplest, it's the English language. Many people might think why English has been targeted, but if you just observe in the surrounding, we live in India, and there are so many people who have this, grammatical mistakes which they commit, or maybe they are not able to put words at right place. So they are really struggling also with this language. But if they listen to this particular third sentence or the suggestion or maybe the point that sir is discussing right now, start speaking. You might be wrong, you might commit a lot of mistakes, people might laugh at you, but at least take the first step. That's what you're saying.
Because as it is said, there's a saying that says that practice makes a man perfect.
Correct, yes.
So you have to start, the beginning has to be made somewhere, boldly.
Absolutely. First step has to be taken first.
Yes, you have to take the first step and you have to start speaking the language with whomever you can, with whomever you can.
Yes.
Be it your friends, they might,
Whoever you feel comfortable with.
Yes.
It can be your friend, it can be your family, it can be your teacher, whosoever.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
So you have to start speaking the language, practicing it with whomever you can. In the least way you can just start off, saying very easy sentences in the beginning, just
Correct.
single words you can utter.
Try to put words together at least.
Yes,
Grammatically, we can make it correct later.
yes. So it has to be, because practice, you will have to, I'll just give you an example, sir, to make clear, to clarify the importance of starting to speak the language. Why do you need to start speaking the language? In your desire to learn English.
Correct.
Because the thing is, suppose there's a person, now this is an example I'm giving you, suppose there's a person who is very desirous of learning to swim.
Correct.
He wants to learn swimming, he is highly fascinated, seeing people swim.
Yes.
And he wants to learn swimming. It's a great craving or desire to learn
Yes.
swimming. So he approaches a coach
Yes.
and tells him, sir, I'll give you how much ever money you ask for. I am very desirous of learning to swim. I want to learn swimming. I'll give you how much ever money you want. I will come at any time that you call me as per your timetable.
Yes.
I'll come to whichever place you can call me, even if you have another swimming pool somewhere.
Yes, you are absolutely ready to learn something if you are willing to learn.
Yes.
That you will do anything for it.
Yeah, very true. So in that, suppose the person says all these things and then says, I'll give you whatever you demand, so
whatever money you want, wherever you want me to come, whichever place, whichever time, absolutely your convenience because I want to learn. Yes.
Yes, he says, I am greatly desirous and I want to learn swimming at any cost. And then finally he tells the coach, sir, I have only one condition and I hope you won't mind it. Don't force me to enter into the water. Keep me out of the swimming pool because I am greatly frightened of cold water.
He is ready to do everything except for one thing, which is absolutely important.
Yeah, he will just pick you up and throw you into the swimming pool maybe.
Right.
If you are standing close to the swimming pool.
After hearing this, he will definitely throw it.
I think the least he can do to you is he'll just throw you. Come on, this is your first. This is your first step.
God. Yes.
That is the least he can.
That's the loveliest example. That's how you connect with English learning also. Like you listen to it, you read it, but many people say, I'll not speak. Okay.
Yeah.
I have read now, I have listened to it, but I'll not speak.
So flinging you into the swimming pool, he'll say, this is your first step towards your great.
So I think we should throw people on the desk, in front of like 1,000 audience. Sitting in front, and they should start speaking.
That's why you see in communication there are topics like extempore and all.
Yes, right.
You are just pushed in front of the audience.
Correct. You have to expose yourself to larger number of people in order to speak, to commit mistakes and learn from it.
Yeah, that's why when we take communication skill classes in the college and all, we begin with extempores.
Oh, right.
Children are very fussy and doing all sorts of fuss, saying no, I don't know, I never.
Yes, this is very natural because there's fear. There's fear inside that I might be wrong and people might laugh at me.
Yes.
And at a very initial stage wherein you're just a teenager, I mean, you definitely have so much of insecurities within your mind.
Yes, sir.
That resistance is more.
Right, and I'll tell you, so English, any language language, I'll tell you, sir. Language is, I would compare it with a master key.
Okay.
If you have a master key, it can open any lock.
Yes, absolutely.
That's why it's called as a master key.
Yes,
so any language, and all the more true with the case of English, it being an international language, it is like a master key.
Yes.
Because, sir, the thing is, if you know English, see, through language, one learns anything that he wants.
Yes.
If you want to learn history, be it history or be it geography or be it geometry,
Correct.
or any other language, be it psychology,
Correct.
sociology, all information, any subject, you accumulate accumulate the language through a language.
Correct. It's a medium.
It's a medium.
Correct. It's like it acts like a pipe or a tunnel.
Yes.
Through which you will have to go in order to reach your destination.
Yes.
Psychology doesn't have psychology language. History doesn't have history language. It has English. Correct.
Exactly. So it's just like, master key would open any lock.
Correct.
A person who is, well versed with different languages,
Correct.
he will gain any information that he wants. Or the more languages you know, the more information you will acquire.
Absolutely. And more confident you feel.
Yes.
Because you know that this is the currency that is required in order to roam around the world and I have it.
Yes.
And this, you don't have to maintain separate pockets. I mean, you can keep separate pockets in your brain maybe.
Yeah, very true, very true. Because if you are going in a 5-star hotel to work, you will find that every room has got a person from a different nation.
Yes, absolutely.
There could be a Thailander living in the first and second room, there could be a Spanish person, in the third you'll find a Chinese person, in the fourth room you'll find someone from Australia.
This is what happens, yes.
So you imagine the importance of the English language if you have to go and work as a room service.
And you have to be fully prepared in order to grow. Otherwise, you'll just lose your confidence like anything.
Yes. So you can communicate, exchange ideas, and get your, earn your livelihood.
Right.
If you are
this is the
equipped with
mantra that you would like to give it to our audience.
Yes.
Three important steps: active listening, active reading, an act of speaking also,
Yes.
and consciously. Now, till this date, you might be doing it unconsciously, but now it has to be a conscious effort.
Yes.
Do it, I mean, with so much of enthusiasm and so much efforts that you finally become master of it. As
Yes.
you said, it's a master key. So if you have a master key, you automatically become master of it.
Open any lock.
Yes. Right.
And so with the, if you know good English, locks would be like the different countries that you
Yes,
can go and
right.
work in.
So it acts as a passport also for you. Like different locks it will open.
Yeah.
And
No
automatically
country
you
will
have
be like a unopenable lock to you.
Right, correct. And what a lovely example, sir. Back it up with the swimming pool example. I'll definitely remember it for my life, sir. Obviously.
Yeah, I'll go. I was not getting of a better example.
It was precise, spot on example, I must say.
Yeah, where I could vent out my anger because there are many people. Why I say throwing him into the swimming pool is there are many people who don't want to talk,
Yes.
but they say I want to speak English.
Yes, yes.
He
How can you do it?
It angers me. It simply angers me. You want to learn English, you don't want to open your mouth.
Yes.
You don't want to start swimming.
Lovely. So it was really nice talking with you. So is there anything that you would like to add for our audience?
Yeah, I would just advise anyone who is eager to learn the language or who is in a desperate need to learn the language. He needs to follow these 3 steps. And as it is said, it's never too late to learn.
Yeah, what a point. Never too late to learn.
It's never too late to learn. You might have missed it in your school days, you might have missed it in your college days. But it's never late to learn. Even if you're in your middle age, you can start learning as long as you have a deep desire.
Yes.
A deep craving, and supported with determination.
Yes, absolutely.
I think
You have to have a right attitude and the right, you can say, efforts also to make it happen.
Yeah, but because I know examples of people who were not educated in English medium schools,
Yes.
but speaking English better than,
Yes, yes.
it is stunning.
This was my point. It's not necessarily to take admission only in English medium school, but
Yes.
even if you're from any other, medium, still you are having this conscious efforts, if you put it, you are having better chances while speaking and communicating in English.
Yes, sir. And I know many such examples, many examples. It is extremely stunning to see everything, the accent in which they speak, the vocabulary and the grammar, everything so well mastered.
Yes.
That's all, a result of the burning desire.
You must have seen thousands of students now, 40 plus years, that means maybe lakhs of students must have,
Many. I have taught in.
Yes. So this comes from, this sentence comes from a massive experience, what he has in teaching English. And what a lovely conversation with you, sir. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It was absolute pleasure to have you on the show. And thank you so much for your valuable time.
Yes, sir, it's my privilege to be with you and discuss all these things to you, sir.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, sir. So thank you so much, audience. Learn from it. Whatever he said, 3 mantras for you. Do remember the example. Very funny, but very effective. And see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for being on Bite with